Welcome back to Notebook Check, where I've got the MSI GL62 gaming laptop. It's a 62M with a Core i7 inside and a GTX 1050. Inside this is pretty powerful, and I'll show you the gaming test results. Pretty much all green up to full HD, but it has problems. Big problems on the display, battery life and noise. But if you want a powerful device for €1,000 and you're going to use it on an external display, plugged into the mains with headphones on, all those problems go away. And because the competition for this one is slightly better, there might be a chance that the price will go down on this. It's currently around €1,000, but I suspect that the price will go down below €1,000. You might even see it at $899 in 6 months. It's February 2017 now. Let's take a look at the GL62M. I'll show you around the device, and then I'll give you some of our Notebook Check lab test results. So let's start with what really has to be the low light here, and that's the screen. Now, sRGB coverage was 100%, which means that the color range is fairly wide. The trouble is it's a TN panel with a very low contrast and very poor viewing angle. So when you think about how we measure color accuracy, we measure it at perpendicular to the screen, which basically means it's theoretically good. Because when you're sitting in front of that screen, the angles are slightly different. So what you get is this thin band of good colors in the middle, and then as it goes away from that sort of focused area that's perpendicular to your eyes, the colors fade. And it is a horrible experience. It is really, really poor. So really, if you're thinking about this laptop at all, you have to consider that screen as maybe being useful for writing some documents and stuff, but certainly not for gaming, because screen, even though this is a full HD screen, is really important for gaming, right? Okay, that said, keyboard is good. There's no backlight on it, but it's a reasonable keyboard. It has a couple of strange layouts on this. This is a German layout, but I got caught out a number of times in early use of this with the keyboard. I also got caught out with the trackpad until I found out that it had edge movement on. That means if you move the point and you get to the edge, it will continue moving. You can use pressure to speed up and slow down the movement. So I turned that off and I fixed that problem. Separate mouse buttons are okay. So keyboard area, unless you want a backlight, is actually pretty good. Ports. Let's have a look at the ports. Now, there's no USB 3.1 Rev 2 here, but there is a USB-C port. There's HDMI, there's DisplayPort, there's an SD card reader, which, by the way, isn't very fast. There's also a Gig E port there, and a USB 3.0, I think there, yep. And then if we switch that round on this side, this side has the SD card reader and another USB port. So the other thing I want to highlight on this model has just a spinning hard drive. The performance characteristics of it are spinning hard drive characteristics, which means really, really poor. If you're coming from an SSD device, and I think probably the last 10 or 20 devices I've had here on the table have had SSDs inside them. When you switch to a hard drive, you really notice that it's slowing down, that stuff in the background is taking up time, and really it's a very poor experience. The good thing is there's a spare M2 slot in here, so there's an upgrade path here. You can pick this one up, swap it out for an SSD if you want, 2.5 inch, or pop in an M2 SATA 3. I'm not sure if it's NVMe support on that, and put the OS on that, leave the terabyte hard drive in there, and you get a good combination for storage of games and for the operating system. There's a picture of the insides here. You'll see you can access the memory card slots, fairly easy access to the hard drive and to the network card as well. And down on the bottom left, probably somewhere around here, you'll see the spare M2 slot. In terms of raw performance, that quad-core i7 delivering good performance. Not up with some of the best ones we've tested with that Core i7 in, but good performance there. You know, for €1,000, getting a nice Core i7 quad-core with this GTX 1070 in. That's a nice combination. And PC Mark 8 scores. There's a work score for you. Marked down basically because it's taking into account the hard drive, and that's just pulling those scores down. So performance characteristics, let's just switch through to the gaming characteristics. There's that all green. We've got a huge amount of gaming tests done on there. I also managed to play Rise of the Tomb Raider on this with no problems at all. Full HD settings, high graphics settings, full HD screen resolution, sorry. No problems at all there. Just that screen in this laptop mode isn't very good. External display required. Now then, noise on this. 2 levels of noise to talk about. First, the idle noise. The fan is always on. There is a configuration. You can actually bring down the fan speed and get it almost silent, but there is just a very slight whirring in the background, and when it heats up it starts to get a little bit noisy. It's not that air noise that's mostly acceptable, it's that little whirring noise that you hear instantly, and it will be annoying. But as I said earlier, if you've got headphones on, that may not be a problem. In fact, you can hit the turbo boost button on here and those fans will ramp up. It gets really loud. At least you can be sure you're getting the most performance you can out of this device. Speakers were okay, Wi-Fi performance was poor, heat buildup is okay, so no problems on that. If you're gaming, connect up to Ethernet through the GigE port for the best performance. Our Wi-Fi test wasn't very good. Battery life, well, I can't say that this is an inefficient device because basically it's only got a 41 watt hour battery inside. Now, when I think back to 7 or 8 years ago, there were netbooks which had bigger batteries than that, so it's a tiny battery inside that. Obviously to save costs. What it results in is a Wi-Fi browsing time of about 3.5 hours. 3:45 is what we got. 3:37 for Big Butt Bunny. That's a full HD video test at 150 nits, room lighting sort of brightness. But if you're gaming, under an hour. It's been a while since I've seen anything that's turned in under an hour performance. 41 minutes. You'll see in the full rundown of our test results up there, gaming performance 88%. So performance, pure performance, very good. It's that screen that really wasn't up to scratch, that poor contrast. So bear that in mind. Bear in mind the noise, bear in mind the Wi-Fi, the SD card speed. What was the other one? The battery life as well. But if you want something that's going to sit on your desk connected to the mains with headphones on for gaming with an external screen, and that's not going to cost you too much, you might even have one already, interesting choice. And watch prices on this. The price might go down as soon as MSI realize that there's a couple of competitors out there at around the same mark which are giving you a slightly better all-round experience. MSI may drop the price, and they may be forced to drop the price down on this. So MSI GL62M, €1,000, gaming, good quality, good performance, but it has some problems. Take a look at the full review at notebookcheck.net, notebookcheck.com for the German version. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.